Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Robinson here again with our continuation of the Teacher Time Show. We're going to start off today with the observation, part 4. So we're continuing with the tenets of Miss Charlotte Danielson. If we have time, we will get into the EOY. And if you're not sure what that means, end of the year activities. There's a little Bible verse that's really my reason for doing what I do, and it comes from the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verses 23 and 24. And whatever you do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, and not unto men. So this is letting me know that if I'm going to be a teacher or whatever I decide to do, I should do it to more than the best of my ability if I am able to. Because you're really not working for the paycheck. You are working for the Lord because He's going to pay you. In verse 24, it says, knowing that the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance. So that's where your reward is coming from, because you serve the Lord, Jesus Christ. So that's my little sermon for today. I hope you do consider it, because I always tell my students I have to do my best every day, because the main reason is I get up every day and I look myself in the mirror to see if I did as best as I could when I was teaching yesterday, because tomorrow when I go out there or the next day I go out there, I want to make sure I'm giving it my best. And here is my Angelou. She has one of my favorite sayings that makes me so happy that I am a teacher who the kids like, because when you live in the same neighborhood as they do, they remember you and the parents. And I bumped into a couple parents this week, as a matter of fact. One of them told me, oh, my daughter loves you, Mr. Robinson. They're so glad that you're doing well, and they're just so happy to see me. And I said, well, please tell your daughter I said hi, and keep moving forward. So the saying that's close to me is, I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. And I was with my granddaughter. We were by the library the other day, and there was this young lady staring at me with her daughter, and she said, did you teach at the middle school? And I said, yes, I did. She said, you don't remember me? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. You've gotten old, and I see you have a nice little girl with you. And she said, oh, Dr. Robinson. And I called her by the wrong name, and I said, Joanna, no. She said, you were close though, Jocelyn. I said, oh yeah, I said, yeah, I remember you. And she was saying, oh, you were such a great influence on me, and letting me know that I was the best teacher in the world. And I'm like, well, thank you. I don't know about that. But she was very complimentary to me, and my granddaughter was listening to what she was saying to me. And I'm like, I said, it's nice to bump into old students and see them doing well, and I even told her granddaughter, keep doing well, because maybe when my granddaughter grows up, she may be your math teacher, because she's very good. So she didn't forget how I made her feel, so I must have did something right. So I'll be sharing today with some more of the Danielson model. There is Miss Danielson, and there's the framework. Hopefully you've seen part 1, 2, and 3 of the observation. Now I'm going down to part 4. The domain 4, professional responsibilities. Now this is going to get a little bit long. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it in one part, so I'm just in case, because I do want to make sure I take enough time for the end of the year form. So, but we'll do what we can. So, domain 4, professional responsibilities. There are 6 of them: reflecting on teaching, maintaining accurate records, communicating with family, participating in a professional community, growing and developing professionally, showing professionalism. Every year at every end of the year, teachers are required, at least in Peak Skill, to submit a form dealing with this domain, because I don't know if I mentioned the other 3 domains, 1, 2, and 3, are always what you're graded on in your observation. They don't grade on domain 4 because there are things there that, some things there that it would be a little bit difficult for them to write up. That's why they give you a special document at the end of the year to fill out, and I'll be going into that a little later. All right, let's get going. Now, you're at the performance level. It should be highly effective and distinguished, because you have the students directing the class and teaching the class, and hopefully you got your groups straightened out, because it's getting down to the 3rd marking period coming up here. So hopefully you're using at least proficient in teacher-directed style, but I want you to get away from that style and release that power to the students so they can direct the class, and tell them, make sure you're using your words. I would even give them a couple points for using the correct terminology. All right, number 4. Here's the level of performance indicators for unsatisfactory, basic, and proficient and distinguished. I just want to point out as we start 4A, reflecting on teaching. The distinguished teacher, reflection on a lesson is highly accurate and perceptive. Citing specific examples, teachers draw on an extensive repertoire to suggest alternate strategies. That's the one thing my wife doesn't like about me, when I give more than one way for my granddaughter to do certain examples. And I like to give alternative ways of doing things, because in math there's so many ways you can save yourself time, and I like to mention that not only to the accelerated students but also include the regular students. So that's a good thing administrators look for. And if you can work off their mistakes and show them something that they did get wrong and say, well, let's learn from our mistake, and that's something else I would recommend that you do. All right, here's my post-observation document. Right before I retired, I had to get my observation in, and so here's what I wrote for question number 1. the reflection. So you're reflecting on the lesson and to what extent did the students have what I have intended. So I usually let them know that I studied where I am at currently in the curriculum, and I go back to last year's notes and let me see if I'm still on a good course of travel to allow myself time to go over and review for the state test. So sometimes I'm a little off in my timing, but I usually have some time, and I try to leave a week so we can review. So my study videos, I like when my students watch them prior to class because it allows me to help them even more, because the lesson will go very quickly. Students volunteer to compete in the game for points. They do love the word wall activities, and shout out to those of you who use word wall. And they really love what's going on. So I'll even get a chance to show you some of this stuff. I also like Google Docs, and I always give some type of pre-test and a post-test. And I like what the pre-test said for the kids, like Angelina. She scored very, very low, 15 out of 100. And she says, how is the group going so far? She says, fair, but I need more help from her group. So I get in there and help them out. And she's one of my Spanish students, so I'm always concerned about that. But she said something about lo me gusta, I like this all. Todo, I believe that's all. And I have another Spanish student, also in my third period class, Anderson. He got a 60 out of 100, and he wrote, que ya estoy apreciado más. And I had to look that one up. And let me see if I have Google Translate there. Says I'm already learning more. So that made me happy to see that he was learning more. And I asked how was the group work going so far. He says, I'm starting to understand the work. And I'm like, oh, right, good. Are you watching the movies for homework more than once before you answer your question? He says, no, he's not doing that. And I would recommend that he watch the movies. So, do you want to continue with the group work? Yes, he does. So that is my documentation. I need that because, number two, how will I know if the kids succeeded or not? Based on the data I got from the entrance ticket and my word wall assessments, the grade average lets me know how well the kids are doing in the entire class. So I have a 79.1%, which is good. So I'm happy that things are starting to go up. So in addition, I have, it says nearly 1,300 people have subscribed, and I'm a little over there, almost 1,400 who have subscribed to my YouTube channel. I let them know I have videos and with good views, 35,000 views on certain ones. I got one over 100,000 now, about 105, I think, when I last looked. Explain how the students are productively engaged. I get a lot of stuff going in there, so I like to start the kids off with an entrance ticket so I can get my data, and I also like to start them off with a vocabulary term from the day before, and I play the game Wordle. It's a vocabulary game, and I'll show it off in a minute. We have buzzers, calculators, whiteboards, markers, Promethean board, smart board, and smartboard software. We use all that stuff to answer questions, and I'm glad they have their computers. I got a lot of these approaches just from intervisitation, checking out other teachers, see what they do. I watched the teaching channel and saw what they do. I read a book, Managing Interactive Classroom, because I do a lot of stuff in there. It was a good book, gave me some good ideas. I take advantage of the online webinar courses that the district offers, and I'm very thankful for that because they offer a lot of good stuff, and you should check into it too and see what your district offers. Kami, Pear Deck, Google Meet, and Google Docs. And when you get so proficient on this, you will find yourself a very, very powerful teacher to deliver your information. There's Wordle, Josh Wardle. He was the inventor of that. There's the game. You have to guess what the word is. They give you 6 chances, and it's kind of cute on how it's played. So if you're interested in, I think there's a 75% discount on it. So you might want to try a free one. I play games that I created, like the tic-tac-toe math game, and I'll go to that since I have it up. So there are numbers here, 1 through 10, and those are the questions that we have. We have the O's and X's. They know that they got to get 3 in a row. So how I play it, I like to have a little challenge. Who's smarter, the boys or the girls? And I separate them into 2 groups, and I said, okay, I'll give them a question so we can decide who goes first. The first person who presses their buzzer, for the boys or for the girls, we will find out if you answer it right, you get it right, you can go first and pick the number. So whoever gets it right, I say, okay, pick a number. And like 3, okay. ¿Cuál es el valor de negativo 3 multiplicar negativo 2? What's the value of -2 times -3 times -2? And I remove the answer, and +6 is the answer, and I'll say, you get the square. And I go back to my game. There we go. And I ask them what number was it, and we cross out that number so they cannot return to it or do it again. And they'll take their X and put it in a spot. And again, 3 in a row, diagonally, horizontally, or vertically, wins. So I have a bunch of games, and that final means I can go all the way to the final test. I've written so many questions dealing with tic-tac-toe math, and we have a good time. We don't have to stop at one game. So I usually play 2 out of 3 for the kids to react. Let me get back to all right. So tic-tac-toe math. Name that point. Números ese punto. So I asked them, find me what this point is. And I would click on it, and it would come up, and I would say, which point is the COP, constants of proportionality? And they'll say, that's where X equals 1, and you go up to the Y value, which is up there, and that's 1, 2, 3 boxes, and it would be, this point would be 1, 3, and we would click on it, and it would come up. And I don't think I have it up, so it won't work for us in here. Sorry. But nice game though. Here's all the group supplies. I bought a ton of stuff for my kids because I didn't want them to be feeling though just because Scarsdale has everything, they shouldn't. I don't like my kids to feel that way. So whatever I have, I make sure they have what they need for their group. And I even get 100 singles because I like to give an envelope with $1, $2, or $3 in it, and I'll ask them to pick an envelope to because you won a prize, and hey. So I see the 24 game there we play. There's a $100 contest for the best in the school we have at the end of the year. So my kids have a lot of supplies, so they're well endowed. I have my classes competing against each other, so they all see their scores from whatever period they have, and at the end of the week we see who has the most scores, and they get prizes. Here's the points for the day. So you might want to check out one of my other movies we made about that. All right, professional responsibilities continued. So reflecting on teaching. So are we accurate using the future teaching? And sometimes I'm scratching my head. I'm like, how can we do this better? How can I make it more interactive or more fun? So I'm always looking to do something better with my stuff. Maintaining accurate records, and I have a video on that. How to check my grades in Google Classroom. I publish my grades in Google Classroom so the kids do not have to guess where they're at. Student completion of assignments, it's in there in Google Classroom. They know what they're missing. That Google Classroom is a beautiful project. I had to learn how to use it just like anybody else, and I searched YouTube for as many videos that I could find about using Google Classroom, and you see they'll have some great stuff you can use. Communicating with families about instructional program, about individual students' engagement of families in the instructional program. I have a movie, the Teacher Time Report Card. If you haven't seen that, check it out, because I get my parents involved, because I call a lot, and I have something called the weekly menu that I was using, and let me just bring it up. It talks about what activities that you have to do for the week. For that week, there are 3 levels, and the activity for each level is in there, and you watch your videos, and I give them the name of what they're supposed to watch. And if you didn't finish the previous day's lessons, finish that up and keep going. And the kids are working and coming up to me, and I'm going over to them, and they say they're finished. I said, well, send me an email if you completed your work, and keep going to the next level. So I have 3 levels, so whatever level they're up to, they have a certain amount of time to get it all done, because there's a test on Thursdays on certain lessons that we've done that week. I also believe in giving a quarterly project, like create a math poem or a comic strip using any math topic. Be creative. So we do some interesting things. Here's the math poem that Nicholas made. Nice guy, Nicholas. So if you get a little time, read it. Oh, boy. All right, what am I at? 4C. Communicating with families. I just mentioned that. I have a YouTube video on report cards. It's 27 minutes and 10 seconds. So I would say you have to make sure you're communicating, because at the end of the year and the 3rd marking period, it gets hairy. They start calling down to the guidance counselor's office those kids who've been problematic through all the terms, the quarters, and they'll say we got a list of summer school candidates, and they'll be nominated to fill 1 seat, and the kids get very turned off and hate that, and they come back to your classroom all upset, crying, some of them, and aggravated because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. Now they're facing summer school most likely. So make sure as a teacher of distinction, you are communicating with those parents, and sending out all of that stuff on the menu is a great way to keep yourself out of the harm's way. Right, 4D, participating in the professional community. So, growing and developing professionally. Here's a lot of the things that I've done, and this is throughout the whole year. So I go to the math conferences. I got an award for Pi Mu Epsilon. I'm a mentor teacher. I win a lot of grants. I've been winning grants for years and years. We even took the kids to IBM in Poughkeepsie, I think, and that was nice. I was the math chair for 8 years before I retired. I have a TV show, as hopefully you're watching, so I got a lot of stuff that I'm doing, and you check it out. But that's what you'll be looking at when we deal with the other movie, EOY. Sorry. We're just running out of time so quickly. All right, showing professionalism, integrity, ethical conduct, service to the students, and advocacy, decision-making, compliance with the school district regulations. You have to be the role model for the students, because if you are not, they will talk to their parents about you and say, oh, Dr. Robinson, he does this and doesn't do that. Sometimes I find myself in trouble because I did something like a movie, and other kids from other classes are asking, how come we can't do one? And sometimes that gets a little problematic to other teachers, but hey, I just try to keep in mind that I'm here to serve to the best of my ability. And I think that's the end. So, if you enjoyed the movie, give us a thumbs up. Write us on YouTube. My channel name is Dan Robinson, PKMS, Peekskill Middle School. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. Write me a comment. I do write back. Check out our latest video on the math preps. One of them, the one before I retired, Math Prep 21. X me at drobmath1. Teacher Time is on Tuesdays on Optimum Cablevision, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. You can see us in Peekskill and Ossining on Channel 15, and Yorktown, Channel 74, and New Rochelle, Channel 76. Check out our other show, Math Time, Tuesdays at 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Same channels. Study with Dr. Rob. If you like what you saw and want more information, write me at robinsonmath@aol.com. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for joining us. Till next time on Teacher Time, this is Dr. Rob signing off. Bye-bye.